Hello everyone, I'm Ms. Viveshna Sharma, associated with Himani Boarding School, and I hope you all have been following my videos on the circulatory system in humans. We have already discussed about components of human blood, different blood groups, the different blood vessels, and we were discussing about the structure of the human heart in the previous video. Continuing with the structure of the heart, today we'll be discussing about the different blood vessels that bring blood to the heart. As discussed earlier, the heart is roughly triangular in shape. It has 4 chambers: the right auricle, the left auricle, the right ventricle, and the left ventricle. And we have also discussed about the septum present between the right and the left auricle, that is interauricular septum, and the septum present between the right and left ventricle, that is the interventricular septum. We also discussed about the valve present between the right auricle and right ventricle, that is the tricuspid valve, and the valve present between the left auricle and left ventricle, that is the bicuspid valve. The valve prevents the backflow of blood. That means blood can flow only in one direction. We also discussed 2 terms: deoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood is the blood which contains carbon dioxide, that is a waste product and has to be removed from the body, and oxygenated blood, that is blood that contains oxygen that is required by the body to perform various life activities. And if you see in your textbook or any book, you will see that deoxygenated blood is denoted by the color blue, and oxygenated blood is denoted by the color red. Of course, our blood is not blue and red, but just to show the difference between deoxygenated and oxygenated blood, we represent in print or in diagrams, we use deoxygenated blood as blue and oxygenated blood as red. Okay, let's continue now. Now, from the body, the deoxygenated blood has to be brought to the heart. So, there is a special blood vessel called the vena cava that brings deoxygenated blood to the right auricle. Since I don't have a blue chalk and a red chalk, I will be denoting deoxygenated blood in this manner and oxygenated blood in this manner. Okay, just to explain. So, vena cava brings deoxygenated blood from the various parts of the body into the right auricle. From the right auricle, the deoxygenated blood enters the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, this deoxygenated blood is sent into the lungs. Now, why the lungs? Now we know that we breathe in, we breathe out. Who helps us? Which organ? The lungs. That means lungs contains a huge amount of oxygen. So, the deoxygenated blood is sent to the lungs so that it becomes oxygenated. The carbon dioxide is removed and oxygen is added. So, for oxygenation, the deoxygenated blood is sent from the right ventricles to the lungs. Now, once the blood becomes oxygenated from the lungs, the blood now enters the left auricle. Okay, I forgot to tell you all the name of this blood vessel. The name of the blood vessel that carries deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs is pulmonary vein. Pulmonary artery. Remember, when we did arteries and veins, we had done all arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. So this artery carries deoxygenated blood. Now from the lungs, the oxygenated blood enters the left auricle, and who carries it? Pulmonary vein. Now when we did arteries and veins, we had done all veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein is the only vein which carries oxygenated blood. From the left auricle, now the oxygenated blood enters the left ventricle. Now from the left ventricle, the oxygenated blood is sent to the different parts of our body. Remember, we had done the left ventricle has very thick walls because it has to pump blood to the various parts of the body. Once more, deoxygenated blood from the different parts of the body is brought to the right auricle by the vena cava. Deoxygenated blood from right auricle enters the right ventricle. From here, it goes to the lungs for oxygenation. And who carries it? The pulmonary artery. It is the only artery which carries deoxygenated blood. After the blood becomes oxygenated, from the lungs, the oxygenated blood enters the left auricle. And who carries it? Pulmonary vein. It is the only vein which carries oxygenated blood. This oxygenated blood now enters the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle it is sent to the different parts of the body. And who carries it? The aorta. Okay, so aorta carries oxygenated blood to the different parts of the body. So if you see, the right side of your heart has deoxygenated blood and the left side has oxygenated blood. So deoxygenated blood from the different parts of the body is brought by the vena cava. Where is it brought? To the right auricle. From the right auricle it goes to the right ventricle. From the right ventricle it goes to the lungs. Why does it go to the lungs? For oxygenation. Who carries it? Pulmonary artery. In the lungs, the blood becomes oxygenated. This oxygenated blood now enters the left auricle. Who carries it? Pulmonary vein. From the left auricle, it enters the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, it is pumped. The oxygenated blood is pumped to the different parts of our body. Who carries it? The aorta or the aorta. Did everyone understand this? Now, if you see, blood enters the heart twice. Once here and once here. So from the vena cava, deoxygenated blood enters the heart once, and from the lungs, oxygenated blood enters the left auricle the second time. So blood in our body enters the heart twice. Once has deoxygenated blood and once has oxygenated blood. Hence it is called, the circulation of blood in our body is called double circulation. Once it enters into the right auricle as deoxygenated blood, and once it enters the left auricle as oxygenated blood. Hence it is called double circulation. So we will be discussing about double circulation in the next video. Thank you everyone. I hope you all understood what we did today. Thank you. Keep watching my videos. Bye-bye.